Everybody. Well, now we've got Doug. Doug is going to be talking all about tiny house priorities today. So I'm gonna promote you, Doug, to co-host, and you'll be able to share your screen and everything. There you are. How's it going, Doug?
It's going well. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
And
Can't
can you
wait
see
for this.
me?
We can see you. Yep, that's right.
Yay. Okay.
There we
Uh,
go. Awesome.
yay.
Good stuff. Well, how you doing today, Doug?
I'm doing well.
Good. 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 I love to hear it. Love to hear it. You ready to rock and roll for your presentation?
Well, I'll talk for a bit.
Yeah, we love it. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Doug. I'm gonna let you go for it, and I'm gonna jump off the screen here.
Okay, and I'll see if I can make this work,
Yep, sounds good. I'll chime back in if you need anything.
please. So I'm going to share screen. Come on, screen share. I have no idea. Share. Does that work now?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, great. So I'm Doug, and I've been enjoying life in my DIY tiny for over 2.5 years now. It's almost entirely self-built, with a bit of assistance from my partner, but without the help of anybody in the construction trades. Um, I believe that in designing and building a livable tiny, nothing is more important than establishing your priorities and then reflecting them in your design. I was pleased to see that in the previous presentations, most of them, or maybe all, included discussions of priorities. That's the beginnings. What I'd like to do today is tell you a bit about my priorities, how these are manifest in my tiny, and hope this might help you in your design build process. First, upon deciding to live tiny, I established a handful of overarching priorities, as well as a number of secondary priorities. The overarching ones were meet residential building code, build a house, don't build an RV. Since I didn't have a site, neither a home site nor a building site, the house needed to be mobile and essentially self-contained and live sustainably. I'm retired, I'm living on Social Security. I wanted something that was, I could manage my daily expenses on. And finally, have a dance floor. Yeah, a tiny with a ballroom. Good luck. So these led to a number of, there it is. These led to a number of critical design decisions. The tiny would be off-grid with solar electric. It would rely on propane for heating, cooking, and hot water. It would contain a minimum of 100 gallons of fresh water within the envelope, so I wouldn't need to worry about freezing temperatures, nor how to hook up to a water supply, and I could do water haul if required. And being in mountainous northern New Mexico, it would be well insulated. But in order to maximize space with only 4-inch wall cavities and an 8-inch ceiling cavity. And finally, to aid in mobility, keep the house well below the 500 pounds per linear foot, which is common to many tinies. Okay, so where did this go? To achieve a well-insulated house with only 4-inch wall cavities, the house is a modified post and beam structure. It has 4x4 posts at each corner and at 3 locations along each side wall, with 1/8-inch steel cross bracing to eliminate racking. A few 2x3s are attached to the exterior sheeting and to the 4x4s to support windows and some interior elements. The exterior walls contain little except high R value insulation, no plumbing, no wiring, and minimal lumber in the walls. And the rest is XPS, which is the highest R value insulation that that is relatively easy for a DIYer to work with. So this is the front of the trailer and will become the kitchen and loft area. The front wall shows the bracing. The big hole in the top is for the egress, which is to residential code, not RV code. And XPS insulation has been added to the sidewalls. Since the fit of the XPS is not perfect, the house was sealed multiple times and at every stage of construction with either Prosco air dam or fast flash. The floor is well insulated with a combination of rock wool and XPS, and it's also been multiply sealed. The insulation sheets are secured by 2x4s that are interior to the house, and they're also used as attachments for the wall paneling, which is not shown here. Because XPS comes in thicknesses that are integral number of inches, the walls are a full 4 inches thick, which means R20, and not 3.5 inches. And they protrude beyond the 4x4 posts and beyond the 2x8 joists. And so there are essentially no thermal breaks in the walls or the ceiling. So again, we have nominally R20 walls, which is pretty decent for a tiny house. To complete the insulation picture, high performance windows were the best I could afford. They're argon filled triple pane, and they were the most expensive single, more than the trailer. They were the most expensive single thing that I put into the house. And testing with blower door shows that the house is indeed essentially airtight. So we have a shell. What about interior design priorities? I wanted it spacious, open plan with a dance floor. I wanted a generous kitchen. I wanted a study. I wanted it a water efficient and easy to care bathroom. And I wanted 100 gallons of fresh water and black and gray water tanks in the envelope. Some of these may appear to be conflicting, but all of my priorities were met, and we'll see how with the tour. Although the following tour may be interesting, I hope that every step of the tour and every aspect of the build encourages you to think about what you want. I'll show you my priorities, but you do you. After all, once built, there is little remaining flexibility. So please be sure that your priorities are reflected in your design. Shoes come off at the entry and go into a low shelf opposite the door. Coat rack is attached to a 3/4 inch Baltic birch panel, which is the only wall in the house, which encloses the bathroom. Switches for the bathroom light and water heater are mounted on this wall. These wall switches, as is true throughout, are wireless and battery free. The RF signal transmitted by the switches controls relays that switch the lights and other electrical devices. The bathroom is neither large nor luxurious, not my priorities. It's a 3-foot by 5.5-foot wet bathroom. In the shower end of the bathroom, there is also a sink from a vintage Airstream. To eliminate grout and the possibility of mold forming in the grout, the walls and ceiling of the shower are Schluter Curdy board, which is intended as a waterproof backing for tile, but instead it's covered and sealed with fast flash and then painted with a high quality exterior paint. No grout, no tiles to fall off in transit, very easy to clean and to maintain. You can see the black at the bottom of the picture. The bathroom floor is cut and formed from a single sheet of ABS plastic that is turned up at the sides, and the corners are welded shut. The ABS linear drain is welded into the floor under the shower side, which is no longer in this picture, and it creates a maintenance-free, watertight floor. The joists under the floor are sloped for drainage into the linear drain. And the toilet is protected by a shower curtain when the shower is in use. So with the shower curtain open, it's 5.5 feet from the back wall of the bathroom to the front wall. With the shower curtain closed, the shower area itself is 3 feet by 3 feet, which is recommended size for a standard home's small bathroom. Over the bathroom is a storage loft, accessible by a library ladder. You can see the rail to which the ladder hooks. One side of the loft has stuff I haven't yet thrown out, as well as a few seasonal items. Since I did my absolute best to seal the house airtight, a Lunos ventilation system provides the recommended air exchange and also minimizes heat loss. And one of the Lunos paired ventilation fans is visible high up on the passenger side wall next to the loft. In my opinion, every tiny needs a heat recovery ventilation system, such as Lunos provides. The other side of the loft contains two 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries, a modem, and a 400-watt inverter. The inverter only powers the free space Wi-Fi antenna and a couple of outlets for wall warts to charge laptop and phones. Otherwise, the house is strictly 12-volt. Lights are LED strip lighting. I have no microwave or other power-hungry electrical appliances. Attached to the loft is an electrical panel holding charge controllers, circuit breakers, battery monitor, various switches, and other system monitors. And 800 watts of solar panels mounted at ground level on the south side of the house complete the solar system. Ground rather than roof-mounted solar panels allow easy access to brush the snow from the panels. The mounts are simply farm gates attached to T-posts and are easily adjusted for seasonal, well, I say easily. They can be adjusted for seasonal motion of the sun. Adjacent to the bathroom is a hanging closet, a drawer, and an access panel to a 6-gallon RV water heater and an RV furnace. Here I've removed everything, and you can see the propane. So throughout the house, propane appliances I selected propane appliances, including the stovetop, as well as the water heater and the space heater. And the RV, they're established performance records in mobile applications. And so here's the water heater, here's the space heater. This area up here is room for the closet that I'll show in a moment. I've got two 30-gallon propane tanks with automatic changeover regulator mounted on the tongue of the trailer. The hanging closet is narrow. It's only 24 inches wide, but a 3-foot long sliding clothes rod makes full use of the space. The rest of the house, the living room, the kitchen, and study, extend 22 feet from the back wall, giving the house an open, for a tiny house, relatively open and airy feel. The living room floor is 3/4-inch Baltic birch plywood. One of the reasons for the shoe-free house is that Baltic birch, although perfect for my needs, does not provide the same industrial strength walking surface as oak or other more customary flooring material. So again, we're back to my priorities. You'll see why I wanted big sheet panels in a second. The living room is currently configured with a comfortable reading and television chair, a small table for dining and/or study, and a dining room chair. I also have additional chairs for guests, which are not in this picture. You'll see one when I show the loft. But I said I wanted a dance floor. It was one of my priorities. All furniture folds, is easily stowed in the study, and the protruding shelves can be folded down, which transforms the living room into a 6.5-foot by 11-foot dance floor. Yes, I do teach in it. Yes, my partner and I dance in it. And so we have a tiny with a ballroom. And how about water storage within the envelope? Well, here it is. The living room floor is raised, supported by steel cross beams to which the Baltic birch floor panels are bolted with machine screws and captive nuts. Leaves room for the holding tank. You can see back here is a black water holding tank. In New Mexico, water from your kitchen sink is considered black water. So even though I have a composting toilet, I generate black water. Each of these two freshwater tanks is a little over 50 gallons. So indeed, I have over 100 gallons of water, fresh water in the within the envelope. And under the shower, back here, you can see part of the structure. There is a gray water holding tank, which is routed to the septic system during the winter, but is available in the warmer months for the garden and the small orchard located in front of my house. At the end of the living room, opposite the bathroom, I have alternating tread stairs to the loft. They are built to code. They run across the house and occupy very little space. Under the stairs, with access from the living room, is a second hanging closet right here, a cabinet for broom and vacuum cleaner, and storage for seasonal clothes, which is currently filled with cold weather hiking gear. We go out 3-4 times a week when it's 17 degrees out to hike with our dogs, so I need that. The study and kitchen are at the level of the house's subfloor. So they are down 15 inches from the floor of the living room. It's got a code permitted 6 foot 4 inch ceiling, which allows for an adequately tall overhead sleeping loft. The kitchen includes an RV stovetop, under counter refrigerator and separate drawer freezer, which is not shown here. Both of those are intended for maritime use, so they're quite robust. And since I'm single and eat mainly grains, fresh fruits, and vegetables, I did not prioritize a large freezer or fridge. Not my priority. Likewise, since I cook exclusively on the stovetop using a Dutch oven for baking breads, which I do, baking bread or pies or whatever, I didn't elect to have an oven, which would occupy space that I was able to fill with drawers. Finally, I'm quite content to use the laundromat, so no need for a washer. And the result is a small open kitchen with over 10 feet of open counter space, excluding sink and stovetop. It has over 10 feet of open counter space. Has plenty of drawers. The large amount of under counter shelving and number of drawers eliminates the need for upper cabinets, which adds to the spacious feeling of the house. The peninsula adds significant counter space and doubles as an eating surface and a secondary desk. The refrigerator, freezer, and additional cabinetry are located under the peninsula. On the far side of the kitchen peninsula is a small office with bookshelves against the side wall and under the stairs. Charging outlets are also located under the stairs. Prior to going tiny, I had quite an enormous library, but it succumbed to my current minimalist lifestyle. The second Lunos unit, which you cannot see here, is mounted high up in the kitchen, actually in the study, the inner boundary between the kitchen and the study, which eliminates the need for a kitchen exhaust fan. So I've had no problem with condensation of any sort, and I credit most of that to the Lunos units keeping the house, providing the code required number or code recommended number of air exchanges per hour. And rolling drawers under the living room floor are easily accessed from the study. Main floor is 2 steps up from the kitchen where we encounter the alternating tread stairs. Yes, I don't recommend them for dogs or small children. And until I got the hang of it, they were not easy. In fact, during the first week of living in the house, I managed to trip and fall. Now I love them and would not have conventional stairs. Although I'm currently 76 years old, I started building my house. So I've been living here 2.5 years. That took me 2 years to build. Although I'm now 76 and I love the sleeping loft and don't mind climbing up and down the stairs several times per day. Per code, the top step of the loft is a platform located 20 inches below the loft floor. And because I'm only 5'6" tall, I'm short. I can stand on the platform and can dress while standing on the platform. I prefer a single Japanese. I live alone. My partner has her own house. I prefer a single Japanese futon. And the sleeping loft is quite roomy. Does this show up? So back here, for me, it's hidden. There is another one of those reading chairs, which I will use. I sit in the loft and read. It's really comfortable. The ceiling is adequately high. And finally, not shown, the loft contains a dresser, which meets all of my needs for non-hanging clothing. I like the view from my loft. There's a little scraggly plum orchard, garden in front, which is snow covered. Nice view of the mountains. Okay, and how about mobile? Yeah, the house is mobile. I manage weight as well as fore, aft, and side-to-side balance throughout the construction process, and ended up with less than 11,000 pounds with a little over 1,400 pounds tongue weight, which it puts about 14, 13 and a half, 14% of the weight on the tongue, which is ideal for a towed trailer. The weight is also well under, it's a 26-foot house, so the weight is well under the common estimate of 500 pounds per linear foot for a tiny house. Since I didn't have a building site, I moved the house multiple times during construction, and which I can talk about if anyone's interested. And finally, when the interior was nearly complete, I moved it to its current site, which I was able to purchase. And site prep mainly consisted of a septic system to meet New Mexico state environmental requirements and some 4 concrete pads that I put cinder blocks on to raise the house off of its wheels. So now New Mexico building code considers it a house. It meets International Residential Building Code, and it is on blocks but easily lowered. What's kind of interesting is that to get insurance, I had to leave the wheels on because of potential fire hazards. So they required that the house retain the wheels. So it's when I started construction, I had no site, no idea where I might locate my house. And since I couldn't get a building permit without a site, I had arranged for a licensed architect to periodically inspect, and if all went well, eventually certified that my house was residential code compliant. And yes, so certified. As I hope became clear during the tour, I was very careful in building to meet my priorities so that my house is well suited to me and my desired activities, dance floor, whatnot. I'm not much for parties nor guests other than dancers. I do teach dance, and my partner and I dance in my house, but no large gatherings. No pets and no children live with me. Although I prepare most meals at home, I have no need for I'm not a tough chef candidate. I don't need a Viking 6-burner range or correspondingly huge refrigerator. My house is custom designed for me and would certainly not suit everyone. That I am not tall nor especially large also enables features particular to me. And I have avoided, for example, my kitchen is a corridor kitchen, which is narrower than is generally recommended, but is perfect for me. And I've avoided emphasizing features which, although others may value, are just not my priority. I didn't prioritize a large bathroom. There's things I just didn't prioritize. I firmly believe that living a comfortable, tiny life depends upon establishing clear priorities and embedding those in the trade-offs you must make going tiny. I've tried to indicate my priorities during the tour, and I've also tried to indicate that a sustainable, tiny, fitted to you may require that you be flexible and think outside the box. Who has a raised living room floor with water underneath it? Who has a ABS plastic floor welded shut for their bathroom, et cetera, et cetera. And this, I think most of you know, this is not an exercise in building a small version of a standard home. If you do choose to buy rather than DIY, please work with a builder who has experience with tiny houses, rather than a contractor, no matter how good, no matter how reputable, who has only big house experience. Now, your wants and your needs will certainly differ, but the message is the same. Prioritize. Make the house fit your life rather than making your life fit the house. So I see I have time left. I'm done. If you have questions, ask them. If you don't, I'll walk away. How do I unshare this thing?
There should be a button kind of along the top up there somewhere, I think, that says stop screen share.
I see one that says new share, stop, no, video chat, Q&A, pause share.
Maybe it's at the bottom.
Nope. There's,
No.
oh, maybe you can do this for me. You can control me. Is that true? Oh, stop share. Okay, it appeared.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. Now I look big and furry with a cotton ball for hair. You can see me, I trust.
Yep, we got you. Cool. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a couple of questions in there.
Okay, so let me start at the top. Whoa. And okay, how I did the bathroom walls. There's a product called Schluter, made by Schluter Corporation, which is called Curdy Board, and it is a waterproof insulation material. And it's intended that you put that on your bathroom walls and on the bathroom floor, and you use it as backing for tile. I didn't want tile. I put it on my walls and then used Fast Flash, which is a product from Prosco, which is a waterproof flashing material. And I entirely covered the already waterproof. I entirely covered the Schluter Curdy board with this Fast Flash. And then I painted it with a high quality exterior paint, which is exterior paints are designed to handle things like rain. So they're not designed to be scrubbed, but they are designed to handle like rain, fairly constant water, but not scrubbing. And they've done very well by me. A Dutch oven, cast iron. It's basically a cast iron pot that's pretty big. You can buy them from Le Creuset or somebody like that for hundreds of dollars, or you can get them from Lodge for $75. And because they're very heavy cast iron, they heat up very uniformly. And I bake bread in it. I make pies, and it goes on the stovetop. And it's so you can Google Dutch oven, and you'll see a lot of examples. Yes, someone says large cooking pot. Blue skies. Yes. The size of my tiny. I didn't tell you. It's 26 it's the exterior is 26 by 8.5. But because I've tried to minimize the stuff inside my house, it feels to me very, very spacious. Let's see. My siding. Part of my siding, if you look at the picture of the outside of my house, which I don't know how to make reappear, the lower portion of my house is sided with steel, and it's just raw steel, heavy gauge, so it's rusting, which I wanted to have happen. Above that is LP smart siding. I put the steel down below for a couple of reasons, and it's good I did because when it rains or snow melts, you get drips, rust drips going down, and that would streak up my smart siding if I had the steel above the wood, the fake wood. I think, is it time?
It is, yeah. Thank you so much, Doug, for jumping in here and kind of giving us your full ideas of designing your tiny house and prioritizing. And kind of like I'd said earlier, Doug did all his research when he was figuring out what he wanted with his tiny house and really did actually a lot more research than most builders ever do when they're building a tiny house. So very cool to see it.
Well, thank you all for listening to me. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and we can talk on Skype. You have to email me to get my Skype address. I'd be happy to expound further on any of this. So thank you. Goodbye.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. Thanks so much, Doug. Well, we'll be in touch for more of this. We love collaborating with you and whatnot. So thank you so much for taking your time today to jump on here.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Good. Take care.